my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my official Magnolia Parks series vlog. There is no routine or schedule to when I am reading these books, but as I read them throughout the year, I just want to vlog and share this with you guys. So this will be full spoilers. If you haven't read this series, go ahead and click off. We will be going through book 1, book 2, book 3, or whatever, so if you want to watch just as far as you've read it in the series, you are more than welcome to. However, we're taking a kind of a weird start to this video because I forgot that I was going to do this. I got too sucked in to the books, and I have now finished Magnolia Parks, and I am halfway through Daisy Haites, and I just realized, oh yeah, I meant to vlog while I was reading these, and I didn't. So far, these two I have been buddy reading with Brooklyn's library. I think if she enjoys the series and continues to read on, we may be buddy reading all of the books together. I don't know when, I don't know a timeline. It's currently February, so I don't know when this video is going to go up, but we're just here for the ride. So unfortunately, you won't be able to see my thoughts as I'm reading through Magnolia Parks, but I will tell you right now, I gave this one 4.5 stars. I was immediately hooked. One thing I will say about this that stood out to me is that the writing was so much better than I was expecting it to be, which maybe sounds bad, but as somebody who doesn't read a lot of romance, I think when I go into romance books, I kind of know what to expect, and typically they are a lot more simplistic with the writing. Not that that's bad, but they're typically easier to read, and I get through them very quickly, and they kind of follow the same storylines. But I should have known that this is going to be unlike anything that I've read so far. If you've never heard of this series, first of all, where have you been? But this is a 6-book series. I believe it's 6 books. And there are 3 books that are following a character named Magnolia Parks, and then the other 3 books are following Daisy Haites, and the series goes back and forth. So you have Magnolia Parks, Daisy Haites, Magnolia Parks, Daisy Haites, etc., etc. So in this one, we are introduced to Magnolia, who is a socialite in London. She comes from a very wealthy family and is just very popular in that world, is in the tabloids a lot. A lot of people are fans of her. And she has an on and off, very toxic relationship with BJ Valentine, who is sort of a influencer. The back of the book synopsis describes him as Britain's most photographed bad boy. But their relationship is notorious. They dated for some years. They had a really bad breakup, and now they are just in this toxic, relationship, not relationship, but relationship. Does that make any sense? Not romantic relationship, but just in relation to each other is very toxic because they're both clearly in love. They have known each other for so long that they are just very intimately connected to one another on a spiritual and mental level, and then going through all of this trauma together and sharing so many firsts, first kiss and first love and first time, and they are just intertwined basically, but they love each other, but they can't be together for reasons. It's kind of they're self-sabotaging. BJ sleeps around a lot with other women, and when BJ does that, obviously it hurts Magnolia, and so Magnolia gets into these relationships with all of these other men in order to kind of have somebody to hide behind and make it seem like she's over BJ and she's doing so good when in reality she's not. And there's just a lot of breakups and makeups, and they are friends and they associate with the same friend group, so they're around each other a lot, but there is just so much shared trauma between them and so much of a past and a history that really affects their relationship. I don't know, it's really hard to describe it. I'm sure if you're watching this, you already know what it's about, and if you know, you know. If you get it, then you get it. And I went into this book expecting to love it, and then I feel like I loved it even more than I thought I would. It did take me a little bit in the beginning to become fully hooked and fully drawn into the world, and so that's why I gave it 4.5 stars rather than 5 stars. But I think upon a reread, that might increase. Yeah, I'm not even done with the series. I'm not even done with the second book, and I'm already planning my Magnolia Parks reread. What happens at the end of this book, which first of all, I called it because we know that BJ, like, they broke up because BJ cheated on Magnolia, but he refuses to tell her who he cheated with. And so I was like, okay, it's gotta be her sister or her best friend. And I just kind of forgot about it. But I was very sus, like, the whole book, because I was like, why would he not tell her if it was just somebody random? You know, like, whatever, just admit it. And then come to find out it was her best friend. And now I'm like, I need to reread this book to see all of the scenes that this person has been in before and the interactions that they had, and I'm sure it's gonna hit so much harder if I were to do that. It's even affected me in Daisy Haites because it takes place in the same timeline. So we are seeing this character in this book, and I'm like, this bitch. So that's Magnolia Parks. Brooklyn and I did a live stream on her channel about it if you want to go and watch that. Anyways, I don't know, like halfway through Daisy Haites now. I'm on page 236, which is chapter 35, and I think I might be liking this more than Magnolia Parks. I think, okay, first of all, it makes sense that I would like this more because I'm already established in the world. This book takes place in the same timeline as the first one. Although we are following different characters, we are still seeing a lot of the same scenes, just from a different perspective. So having already loved that book and everything that happened in it, I think it makes sense that I'm starting off strong with this one. But I do really feel like it'll be a 5-star. So Daisy is a couple years younger than Magnolia, and some of their friends kind of associate with each other, but Daisy is the younger sister of Julian, who is this crime lord, gang lord. There's this, I don't know, they have a big gang. I don't really fully understand all of that stuff, but it's interesting. And her love interest is Christian, who is in Magnolia's friend group, and Magnolia and Christian actually had a little bit of a fling at one point, so there's a lot of tension and just a lot of drama within the group. I am really enjoying this. I think Daisy I might slightly like more than Magnolia. I just feel like Daisy has a lot more like depth to her as a character, and Julian as well. I think it's so fascinating following their sibling relationship and learning about everything that they've gone through, and I just think their world is so interesting to me. And Daisy is so funny. All of her chapters have little footnotes at the bottom, but they're like the most silly and pointless things. So there's a scene where they're having an interaction and somebody else is there and he says, "Still here, guys," and it says, "Then leave," Christian tells him without looking at him, and then it's a little footnote, and the footnote is literally just OMG. I'm like, girl, same. That is so real. I'm also really loving Christian's perspective in this book. I think Christian is so funny, and once again, I think he also has a lot of depth to him, and we're learning so much more about his relationship with Magnolia. He is in love with Magnolia. They've been friends for a really long time, and they have quite a history between them. And when Magnolia and BJ broke up, she kind of started a relationship with Christian, and he is still very much hung up on it, but he knows that he can never have Magnolia, and it's really interesting to see all of that from his perspective, because obviously we got Magnolia talking about it and her feelings in this book. So to see how Christian really feels, and I feel like Christian's like giving us more of the truth. I think Magnolia was definitely holding back some things in her book, but Christian is letting it all out for us, and I think he's just so freaking funny to follow. There is chapter 25, let me find it, just had me laughing for absolutely no reason. He's talking about Daisy, and they're friends with benefits, and he does not want to admit that he likes Daisy. So she goes off to Italy with her ex-boyfriend, and Christian's very salty about it. So he goes and meets up with his friends, and they go to an Italian restaurant, and he says, "Why do you have to come to an Italian restaurant? Italian food. I fucking hate Italian food." And then his friend goes, "You love Italian food." And he goes, "It's just that Italy is so shit, don't you think? There's all those old buildings. Everyone makes such a big deal about them. But it's like, build a fucking new building. You know what I mean?" And that, like, that just made me giggle for no reason. And then on the next page, he's talking about Daisy, and he says, "Do we sleep together sometimes? Yes. Is she in Italy this minute? Yes. Do I separately hate Italy? Also, yes." And then his friend says, "Seems a bit intertwined." And he says, "I'll intertwine your fucking face." And it's so dumb, but it made me laugh so much when I was reading it. So he's entertaining, but he also, you know, there's a lot of depth to him, and I'm really, really enjoying that. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up this little intro. I'm gonna share my favorite quotes so far from this Daisy Haites book. On page 74, we are reading from Daisy's perspective. She says, "What he doesn't know is that how he looks in the morning time is burned into my memory. And one day when all this is over and we're not hooking up anymore and he's with someone else and I figured out how to move on and past him and we're not together anymore, even then I will see his face when I close my eyes." And I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's a bit of a love triangle because her ex-boyfriend has just come back into the picture, and she obviously was very in love with him once upon a time, and it's just like one of those things where it's a familiar relationship, and that's kind of where she feels more pulled towards because she knows this guy, they've been through so much together, and Christian is just such a new thing, and she is really, really fond of Christian and maybe in love with Christian, but he is clearly in love with Magnolia, and so she is trying to keep things strictly friends with benefits with him. I don't know, I'm just loving it. And then also like the crime stuff and the gang stuff is really, really interesting because Daisy has a lot of like threats to her. Like she is constantly in danger of people assassinating her to take down her brother, and so she constantly has security, and there's constantly things that she always has to be on guard of everybody that's around her, and she always has these people that are on guard for her, which in a way I kind of love because like the minute anybody fucks with Daisy, like there's like 10 guys that are surrounding her that are like willing to kill somebody if they have to, which I kind of love. But then I'm also like reading from Daisy's perspective, and she desperately, more than anything, wants to just live a normal life, to be able to go places unaccompanied, and she just can't have that, and it's really devastating. Anyway, you can maybe see from the amount of tabs that I have in here, I feel like the amount of tabs that I have in here so far is equal to what I have in Magnolia Parks, and I'm only halfway through it. Okay, I need to go on a side rant because I don't have anybody. I was telling my boyfriend about this, and he was listening to me, and he was like, okay. And I'm like, I know you don't care, but to me it's a big deal. So I have these tabs. They come on a thing like this, and then there was also a blue one, and I bought them, maybe like 3 years ago, because it came in like a huge pack. So I just haven't needed to get any more. But I was tabbing away while I was reading this book, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna run out of blue tabs. Like, I need to get more. So I went on Amazon and I searched through my orders, and I found the exact ones that I ordered before, and they are no longer being sold. And I couldn't find any other ones that are like this, where they are transparent on one side, because that's what I like, because I can put it over the words and still be able to read what it says. So I was scrounging around on the internet, and I finally found this pack that I had to get, which is fine and all. It has a bunch of these. I know this is what like all of the book talk girlies are using, these type of tabs, but like I said, I like the transparent ones. So this was the only package I could find that had a good amount of these transparent tabs, and I've been using this little blue thing, but The blue is slightly different than the blue in here, and I know it's not a big deal, and it literally doesn't matter at all, but it's gonna bother me, and I just need to tell somebody that. Enough rambling. From now on, you guys will see me vlogging regular updates as I read through the entire series, starting with continuing on in Daisy Haites. Oh, I read this chapter already. Hello. That's right. I was a chapter behind. I don't know how I missed that, but Christian has a necklace. Like, I guess all of the people in the friend group with Magnolia, she got them necklaces that are little hearts that say their name. And Christian just gave his necklace to Daisy, which is very sweet. So I'm on chapter 42. Because why is this so cute? Christian covers up his eyes and reaches out to Daisy's face and touches all of her freckles. And he says, I know your freckles too. Even with his eyes closed. Stop. That's too much. Oh my god. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. I can't tell, like, wait a minute. Wait, this is part of the plan, right? Because what's happening? What's going on? Wait, what does that mean? None of this was part of the plan? Excuse me, what? Wait, I'm so confused. Everybody's pulling their guns out. Okay. Goddamn, everybody got their guns out. Alright, okay. Wait, what just happened? I'm so confused. Okay, so they're trying to pull off like this big thing, stealing this like piece of artwork that is worth like a lot of money. And they have a plan. And they want Daisy to be a part of it, though she's not ever like a part of their plans or anything. But Julian wants to use Daisy as like a distraction against this cop guy. And so they were just in this museum, and then like what happened? Christian and Romeo got into a fight, and Daisy tried to pull them apart, and then Christian elbowed her in the face and like split her lip open. And then the cop guy came over and was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then these people came in wearing masks and like guns, and then they tried to shoot the cop guy, and Daisy turned around and shot him, and then they like, everybody drew their guns out and they were like having a stare down, and then these people just left, and she's like, that wasn't part of the plan. What do you mean? I'm confused. Okay, it was part of the plan that she got elbowed by Christian. Alright, okay. That makes sense. So when did things go awry? Wow! Not her ex-boyfriend saying, you're such a fucking idiot. Excuse me? So I guess the part where things kind of veered off plan was when these people tried to kill like the cop guy, and then Daisy intervened with that and stopped them from doing it, and then she killed one of them, even though that was the group that was hired by Julian to like pull off this plan. So now they're in some deep shit. But I will say I do really like Julian and Daisy's like sibling relationship, and how protective of Daisy Julian is, and then also learning about their past. Like, both of their parents died in a pretty horrific way, and we do get to see that way, but Julian has pretty much raised Daisy, so she is his sister, his younger sister, but also in a way his child, and also his friend, and somebody who helps him a lot and who motivates him. So I do really like seeing the sibling relationship between those two, but dang. Now I wonder what's gonna happen. I promise you guys, I'm trying to get better about using my microphone all the time. It's just hard when vlogging because it's really not that big of a deal, but I feel like it's already a chore to go and find the camera and find the tripod, and then I have to find the microphone. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm being dramatic, but maybe you will notice a difference in the audio quality from the last couple of clips. Anyways, I was reading this at 1 o'clock in the morning last night, and I so badly wanted to sit down and do an update, but I told myself, no, I'm not gonna do it right now when I look crusty and dusty at 1:30 a.m. So I went to sleep, and now we are here so I can tell you all of the tea. So first of all, chapter 37, we got some more drama because Daisy went to the club with her friends, and somebody was coming up and using slurs against her gay friend. And I love Daisy because she doesn't take like shit from anybody. Like, she is so quick to defend herself, to defend her friends, and she's not afraid to fight a grown man. So she breaks this guy's nose, and then Christian and BJ come running over, and they're like there to defend her, and then Christian gets all mad and he's like, why didn't you come and get me? Like, I could have taken care of that. What if you got hurt? Blah blah blah. And meanwhile, Christian's like over there making out with a girl, and Daisy says, where were you, Christian? Where were you when I was with BJ and that man called my friend a bad word? Where were you? What were you doing? And he can't say anything, and she says, why the fuck would I ever come and get you? But oh my gosh, the drama. And then the freaking end, she leaves the club and Christian flips her off. Like, it is so dramatic. Y'all, stop fucking around. Anyways, what I really wanted to share with you guys were some quotes that I was literally freaking like gagging over last night. I was so in love. Page 268, 269, and a little bit on 270 might be some of my favorite quotes in the book so far. Right here, okay? The universe is ablaze. The planets lose track of their orbits. The birds are poets now, and all the songs written before this, and all the ones that'll come after this, are about this moment. About how when we're standing, my ear rests right where his heart is. How one hand of his swallows a whole half of my waist. The beautiful nothingness of this, the most intimate moment of my life to date. A life that actually has been dotted with much intimacy, and I think nothing will ever beat him resting his chin on top of my head. Shut the fuck up! That is so cute! 269. His gaze is so much. It's so weighted and heavy with a new sort of want, that I can't even look at him because I'm a flower, and he's the whole entire sun, and he'll wilt me away. I know he will. And then this one at the bottom really got me. I think I understand for a fleeting moment why everything that's bad and painful and sad is worth it if you love someone. Because I'll remember how he's looking at me now forever. Stop. And then to end out the chapter, the feel of him is my favorite feeling in the world. For all of history and all of time, write it down, ring the town bell, and tell the scribes. I'll wear it on my heart sleeve forever that I love him. I can feel myself drifting further and further from a safe harbor though, and I should have tethered myself to something, but I didn't. I can feel it now, me tethered to him. Stop. I'm obsessed with Daisy and Christian, and they've officially decided to be together, but I know some shit is gonna go down before the end of the book. Well, obviously some shit's gonna go down before the end of the book, but also because I know in Magnolia Parks, like at the very end, they get in another fight because she is back with Romeo, who's her ex, and they're like fucking around with each other at the club, and I just want them to be together. I just love Christian so much, like independently. I love Daisy so much independently. I love them together. I need them to get their shit together and be in love. Also, oh my god, let me see if I can find it, because I found the quote. I got to the point with the quote that hints to the title of the next Daisy Haites book. Okay. It was on page 264. I really like the quotes above it too, so I'm gonna read that. I think it's so strange to be human, don't you? How my mouth has dragged over every part of Christian Hems's body. He has seen me completely bare. He's seen me furious. We've yelled at each other. He's seen me and he knows me, I think, properly. Knows me how you want someone to know you, and he still likes me anyway. Sitting next to him, saying nothing, feels like taking off a corset. A great undoing, if you will, and he will, in every way. Hello, Daisy Haites and the Great Undoing. It's a rainy day today. I am going to keep reading. I was kind of thinking about, because I live right near Duncan and sometimes I walk there, and I was kind of thinking about walking down there and doing some reading while in Duncan, because that's not something that I do a lot, but I feel like it's fun to mix things up and go read somewhere else that's not home. But then I had to walk there in the rain with my book. I have an umbrella, I have a raincoat, like I could do that, but is that really what I feel like doing? Maybe, possibly, we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. Hello, I'm back. It's been a few seconds for you, but for me it's been a few days. I was finishing up a reading blog that I was filming, so I had to put Daisy Haites down for a couple of days, but I have not stopped thinking about it, and I am determined to finish it tonight. I just got to page 65. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling like literally everything right now. So I was reading it earlier today and I got to the point where it was Julian's birthday, and it's the same scene from Magnolia Parks where Daisy is suddenly with Romeo and she's like, fuck you, Christian, we're not together because you're in love with your best friend's girlfriend, and then like all this shit breaks out. But it was really fun because I remember reading that and being like, oh, this will be fun because I get to see Daisy's perspective after and what she does after those moments. And basically what she does is she goes home with Romeo, and apparently they spend like 2 weeks doing nothing but having sex with each other. But we are basically reading about Daisy and her heartbreak and dealing with all of this, and she's basically like sleeping with Rome again because she cannot stop thinking about Christian, and the only way that she stops thinking about him is like when her brain is focused on something else, such as having sex or having an orgasm. But like the last line in this chapter 55, is what really got me. So she's talking about the moment she finishes with Rome, and she says, I can't think of anything else for that whole minute, that whole perfect minute where the world rushes and shakes, and I don't think about how I'm fucked up crazy in love with a man who doesn't give a shit about me. That really hurt me. That hurt my soul to read that. Something else that I'm really, really enjoying, which I really liked in Magnolia Parks as well, towards the end of the book, where Magnolia figures out who like BJ cheated on her with, and she kind of goes into the spiral of like, what were all the details of this, like where did he touch her, like what did he think of her, and like all this. And there's a good bit of that in here, not only from Daisy but from Christian as well, and it's like that's just always something that like I love, especially when it's like this type of drama. Like that spiral is so interesting to me. So here I thought of Christian the whole time, wondered how far he'd gone with Magnolia. Had they slept together? What was he like when he touched her? Did his hands linger on her how they did on me? Did he touch me how he touched her? Where did his mouth go? Where would it stay? Does he like those places on my body because they're mine, or because they're the same parts she has but he can't touch them anymore? Did he close his eyes when he was with me so he could see her? I never really noticed. And like that type of spiraling is so good for me. And then from Christian's point of view, we have him thinking about, because he found out that like Daisy and Rome are like fucking or whatever, Does he touch her like I touch her? I love her waist, love how I can hold it in one hand. The freckle under her eye that always seems like a call to arms to kiss her. The corner of her jaw that I trace over every time we have sex. Is he doing that? Of course he is. The shape of her face fucking demands it. And it's just like, I just love like that aspect. Also the weird thing is like how often, for like Christian says here, I love her waist, how I can hold it with one hand. And then Daisy like just casually drops in here that she weighs 116 pounds. And I'm like, okay, good for you. Good for you, I guess. I feel like every time I've seen people talk about this series, people always seem to be way more into Magnolia and BJ's storyline, or like rating those books higher than the Daisy Haites books. And I feel like people just generally like Magnolia more as a character, and that's like really confusing to me because I'm definitely like team Daisy and team Christian. I feel like they have so much more depth to them with their backstories and their emotions, and I feel like it's very, very clear from this book. I think we know like Magnolia is not a very likable person. She's definitely like extremely flawed and does a lot of like bad things, and I'm not saying that Daisy and Christian are innocent, because they're definitely not. Like Daisy makes some bad decisions, she does some bad things, but she has so much more emotional depth. And I think, like I said, reading from this, like Daisy's perspective and Christian's perspective of what Magnolia comes off to as other people, I think it's very clear just how unlikable and just kind of shitty a person Magnolia is. And I hate to say it, but it's really interesting too, because you can think like in Magnolia's book, she mentions how like she never had sex with Christian and like blah blah blah, but never elaborated on that, and I was always sus. And then Christian comes through with the tea and he's like, yeah, we never had sex, but it's not because we didn't try, it's because she fucking cried every single time. He doesn't say it like as rude, but I'm like, okay, so I feel like there's more. Like Magnolia's not telling us everything about her. Like she's definitely keeping some things hidden because she wants like to be perceived a certain way. And it's kind of interesting when you think of it like that way, because it's like she's definitely talking to someone. Like the narration style, like these characters are definitely talking to somebody, talking to the reader, you would assume. But I feel like that just kind of adds to it, that it's like Magnolia has all these things that she wants to tell her story, so she's gonna leave out the bad parts. But we have Christian and Daisy that are here to tell us what the reality is. But I know I mentioned this, I think, before, that I really like, once again, the depth that Daisy has, learning about what happened to their parents, learning about what has happened to her, like how many times she's had like attempts on her life, like people that try to assassinate her, or Julian or Romeo, and just her relationship with Julian as well. And I really like this quote when Rome asks her to like run away with him before he goes to New York, and she's like, he basically tells her, you don't need Julian, just come with me. And she says, I do need Julian. He's not just my brother, he's not just my best friend, he's my father and my protector and my family and my home. And Romeo meant the world to me, but my brother meant the universe. And that quote just like, that really hit me. But it's really interesting. I feel like Romeo and Daisy's relationship is like comparable to BJ and Magnolia, where it's like definitely a trauma bond thing, and they're definitely not healthy for each other. And that's why I want her to be with Christian so bad, because I feel like if they just got their shit together, like they could be so good together. And then we have freaking Christian that just comes in, let me find it, at the end of this chapter, and he says, fuck it, I'm going full beach. Christian, what the fuck does that mean? No, I'm ready to throw hands with Christian after that. I'm just like obsessed with the writing in this as well. I feel like I was trying to explain this to my boyfriend, because he's like, what's the plot of it? And I was like, you're gonna think it's so dumb that I'm like this excited and like this invested in a book, but like the writing is freaking like on another level. It's just so beautiful. Like this quote in particular, Daisy talking about Christian, I feel the absence of him in my life the way you can feel the sun slip behind a cloud and wish you were 15 again. And like there's like little quotes like that just like really make you sit there and you're like, damn, like you want to reread it again, because you're like, damn, like that's so good, the way that she conveys these emotions so well. But then on the other hand, like there are so many quotes that like make me laugh out loud, or like the way that it's written is so natural and like so relatable, like you're talking to a friend, or like you're inside this person's brain. Like the thought process is very like accurate to, I feel like, real life. But Christian stays making me laugh out loud because he pulled up to where Daisy's having dinner with Julian and Romeo, and he's like, I need to talk to you, Daisy, or whatever. And Romeo like jumps up, obviously, and he's like, they were alone. And then Christian says, what the fuck are you standing for? Sit down, no one's talking to you. And like, tell me why that made me laugh out loud. So anyways, chapter 65, I am pretty close to the end now. I want to try to finish this tonight. I'm excited, but I'm so fucking scared. Like, I know something's gonna happen at the end of this book.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
So Rome leaves Daisy, and Daisy's all fucked up about it, so she gets like super duper drunk and ends up sleeping with Declan, who works for Julian. And that whole scene really like was weirding me out. It was rubbing me the wrong way because Daisy was like clearly very, very intoxicated, and that should not have happened. And I didn't think it was gonna go that direction. I thought he was gonna be like, no, I can't do it, you're too drunk. But then they had sex anyways. But it's okay because Daddy Julian is here, and he's beating this guy to death now. Julian finds out that they had sex, and he says, I can feel on her that she feels like shit, and he helped her feel like that. So before I even think about what I'm doing, I grab him by the neck of the shirt and toss him across the room. I keep hitting him until I realize I've broken my own pinky finger on his face, and then I throw his fucked up, bloody body down onto the floor. Spit on him once. Julian, oh no. I feel like he's gonna die. He's not dead yet, but Julian just said Declan's body stops flinching when I hit it, and his face stops looking like a face. But he's still alive because he's talking to Daisy. But why do I feel like he's gonna die? Damn. But like, he kind of deserves it because like, she was clearly very, very, very intoxicated and clearly only wanting to have sex because she was fucked up and sad about something. Like, wouldn't you, anybody in your right mind would be like, no, I'm not gonna have sex with you right now. So like, I'm on Julian's side. He didn't have to go that far, but I'm on his side. Julian is coming through. He says it shouldn't have happened. He says he wasn't drunk. I know she was shit-faced and he wasn't. And I'd be fucking mad if he slept with anyone who wasn't as sober as he was. But my sister, nope. You're supposed to protect her, and you fucked her while she was drunk. Exactly. Y'all, do not tell me, hello, don't tell me that what I think is gonna happen is about to happen. I'm scared. Oh no. I'm gonna record in case something happens. That is not what I expected to happen. Oh no. Oh no. Julian is about to lose his mind. I'll tell you that right now. Damn, okay, girlie shoots herself, wakes up just for her ex-boyfriend to go, fuck you. Excuse me. Julian low-key is pissing me off right now. Like, what is your problem? Daisy's really giving Rowley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
It's past 11 o'clock right now, and I have to work tomorrow, but I needed to finish this. Daisy just said, I don't need you, and Julian said, you don't have anyone else. Damn, didn't have to come for her like that. I'd rather have no one than who you are now. Oh my god, not the fucking sibling breakup. I can't handle all of this. What the fuck? Why did he say that? Julian just told her, as far as I'm concerned, you died with them on the beach. Meaning their parents. Should have let you, you ungrateful little shit. Excuse me? This whole time I've been like, I love Julian, I love Daisy, I love their relationship, like they're such a good sibling relationship and they're so close and they're so connected, and then Julian, what is wrong with you? Okay, this is the last chapter before there's like a bonus sort of chapter. Oh no. How the tables have turned. Now she wants Christian to run away with her, and now he's gonna say no, and then she's gonna feel what Rome felt when she told him no. Stop. He said, you can be done, baby. Okay. Okay, this is the last chapter, New York, so I'm assuming this flips back to Magnolia because we found out Magnolia is in New York. Hi, so it is now May. I started this video in February. I read these books in February, and now it's May. After that last clip that you guys saw of me reading Daisy Haites and finishing it, I never came back to give a final update. I think I've said enough about it for the vlog, but I did give it 5 stars. I love Daisy, I love Christian, and I was a little bit shocked by the ending of this, as you guys saw. However, seeing as though I just spent 40 minutes pretty much talking about this one book, I think that putting all of the books into one vlog is not a good idea, because then we would be here for hours. So I've decided I'm going to split it up. I feel like that just makes a lot more sense anyways, so I'm going to do it in pairs. As we know, the books kind of take place within the same timeline, so this is obviously number 1 and number 2, and then the next video will be 3 and 4, and then I can do a vlog for 5 and 6 whenever the 6th one is out. So that means we are wrapping it up for today. Magnolia Parks was 4.5 stars. Daisy Haites was 5 stars. I'm currently reading number 3 right now, and let me just tell you, I am missing Daisy and Christian, especially after sitting down and like editing all the footage. It was bringing back all the memories and like all the quotes that I love. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video here. Whenever I read number 3 and 4, then that vlog will go up at some point this year. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys next time.